All right, let's talk some outdoors. The Bone Collector is with us. Michael Waddell, he's part of the Mountain Dew family just like us. What's up, Michael? How are you today?
What's going on, gentlemen? Oh, just a sunny day in Georgia. That's about it.
So you are a guy that is known for hunting, known for killing wild animals, known for all your video work, but the name Bone Collector, did you have that before the movie came out, or is it something you liked and adopted?
It's really just something that we adopted. The movie had been out. You know, it's funny, when I thought of it, I wasn't thinking of the movie. And actually, it's kind of a funny story how it come about. I had been working full time and hosting an outdoor show called Real Tree Road Trips. And from that, it had given me just so much opportunity. And so when I went out and was able to obtain a few endorsements and just kind of start doing my own thing, so to speak, I was in the back of my mind thinking of a TV show, but I had the opportunity to work with a couple manufacturers, and one in particular was a muzzleloader company called Thompson Center. And so I remember they wanted to have a Michael Waddell edition muzzleloader. And I thought, man, dude, I ain't no star, man. I'm just this old country boy who likes to hunt. I said, I thought it was kind of shallow to have like this Michael Waddell thing. And so I said, man, I'd like to call it something, come up with some fun name. And I said, and that can be my muzzleloader. And obviously y'all can send me the royalty checks. I'm fine with that. But, so anyway, we went through and spent like 3 days designing this gun, and I shot it a few times, and it was just grouping. And I said, man, I don't know what we call it, but this thing's going to be a bone collector, man. And so when I said that, I, oh my God, that should be the name of the gun, Thompson Center Bone Collector. And so that led to me saying, I think that could be a TV show, and here we are. So.
You know, I know you love rock and roll, and especially Southern rock and roll. I was at a Damn Yankees concert like 30 years ago, and Ted Nugent pulls out the old bow and arrow and put on a show on the stage. I would ask you, Ted Nugent better hunter or musician?
Dude, pretty darn equally yoked. I don't know if he got Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw to hunting, but I know, holy cow, man, I'm jealous that you got a chance to go to Damn Yankee show, but I didn't get to see that ever. But Ted is just such a unique guy, man. He puts everything into everything he does. He don't really care, obviously, about society and what it thinks. He only cares about, what does Ted say? He said, I just wake up every day wanting to piss off the enemy. And he does a good job at it. But I would say, I don't know, man. It's funny being that I'm so close to bow hunting, and I love it. And there's so many great bow hunters. I'm just in awe when he brings out that guitar at camp, and he'll still bust it out, man. I mean, almost every time. Ted's one of those guys. He knows that everybody wants to hear him play if he's around. I mean, even people that don't like Ted are like, man, I hope he'll get his guitar out. And he'll usually not just bring an acoustic. He'll bring that old Gibson, and he'll bust out an old tube amp and just melt your face. And he turns it up loud and plays. And every time I'm just like, the tone and the way he plays that thing, you forget just what an unbelievable guitar legend he is.
Well, you would have loved it because they opened for the Black Crowes.
So
it was
no way.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
I'm such a music buff, and you're right. I love rock and roll. I love about everything, man. I've got even a country boy, man. I got everything from NWA, Eazy-E to Run DMC to Aerosmith to Free. I mean, literally everything. I love music, and you're right. Black Crowes, man. Those guys are unbelievable, and they're Atlanta based. They're not far. They're not far up the road from me.
Yeah, I'm interested because you have your fame now, and we just have a little show in Birmingham, Alabama, and we all have friends that still give us a hard time that thinks you think you're a big shot. You think you're a big shot now that you're on TV or radio. Do you have one friend or a group of friends that sort of give you your come-upness every now and then when you see them at a restaurant?
Every day. Holy cow, man. And it's funny because, if you've ever known anything, and anybody listening that's never, heard of me, if you Google my name, first thing comes up is Booger Bottom, Georgia, because that's where I'm from. And so obviously I grew up very blue collar. The last time I ever thought I would be part of is a TV show, maybe on one episode of Cop running like hell in Panama City Beach. I don't know. Like you guys have probably done. Y'all have probably done. So I never thought of ever being any type of personality. And obviously when I got involved in the hunting industry and started working, so all my buddies, and then my dad, he was a carpenter, a general contractor. So everything I've ever done was with my hands, blue collar. So all my best friends and my family are very blue collar. And so, from sheetrockers to painters to concrete, brick mason, you name it. And my granddad was a Boilermaker. So when I started doing TV, I'd come home and a lot of my friends and even family like, hey, must be nice, Waddell. Hey, somebody got to stay here and paint the school. So I'm like, man, don't be hating on me because I get to yelp in turkeys and go hunt with a lot of cool people. So it is what it is. That's what I tell them. Like, somebody got to do this job. Might as well be me.
Michael Waddell is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Like us, Michael is partnered with Mountain Dew as well. At Booger Bottom is where you find him on Twitter, bonecollector.com or michaelwaddell.com. See him on the Outdoor channel, his YouTube channel. Find all of that at bonecollector.com. If you will, describe Booger Bottom, Georgia. Is that the actual name of the city?
That's it. It's kind of one of those unincorporated, and it's like, it's not, obviously it's just an area, but if you get anywhere close to, say, Warm Springs, Georgia, where the little White House is, where Roosevelt came and visited, or Manchester, Georgia, Woodbury. If you say, hey man, I'm looking for Booger Bottom, they'll like, hey, go right there. Take two roads down, Dukes Crawford Road, turn left. I mean, it's got one of those deals. But it's just made up of everyday, American hardworking people, very rural. Everybody seemed to hunt and fish. And obviously it's funny, you're talking about things that I've had the opportunity to work with Mountain Dew. And the two biggest things, man, is working with Mountain Dew. And I had a chance years ago to do some stuff with Waffle House. So when you get a chance to work with Mountain Dew and Waffle House,
no doubt,
all my kin people, I was not a celebrity until then. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's just good people. I mean, it's just really rural. I mean, it's everything from really nice home to double wide trailers and just good old folks, man. And even just until about 15, 20 years ago, all the roads were dirt still. So it's kind of way back, but still you're only 15 minutes from Manchester where you got a grocery store and places to eat and stuff like that. But it was kind of wild though. I thought everybody hunted and fished. I didn't even know. I didn't go to a lot of the cities back then. You just raised right there. And so hunting and fishing and outdoors were huge to me. And so, I didn't realize, I just thought everybody lived that lifestyle. I didn't even know any better. So It's been really cool. And I'm still, just turned 49 and I'm still really getting a chance to smile every time I see some really cool, sophisticated culture, going to the cities. And I'm like, look at that, riding the subway or something, like, wow, this is pretty dope right here, man. This is pretty cool,
So you're the hunter. Have you ever been in a weird situation where you've been hunted, like a wild boar, bear, anything ever come after you?
I can't say that I've ever been in a place that I thought that I was about to get eaten. I have been in some hairy situations. Now, if it probably wasn't for the experience that I've had hunting and you didn't know any better, you would have swear you was going to die. And you hear a lot of these horror stories and people like, man, there was a bear right outside my tent ready to eat me. Well, a lot of times I've had all those situations and it's pretty hairy, but when you understand it and kind of know what you're out there with, I think it was less scary for me just because that's all I ever knew. But I have had some situations like bear hunting or being in Alaska and brown bear and, like a big sow come by with cubs and mock charge you. I've been in Africa where elephants or come mock charge you. And I guess the only difference in a real charge and a mock charge is one's fake and one's real. So you don't really have a way to identify that, but definitely a lot of respect. And you start realizing when you get kind of out of the lower 48, and even if you get into, those Wyomings, Colorado and stuff, that there are some bear and some things out there that, man, they can at any given time. If they decide to take you, it's no problem. They can just get you right then. And so you read of those stories, but most of the time it's more out of curiosity. And I will say, if you ever have a wild animal, especially an animal that can be dangerous and they're not afraid of you and don't run, that's when you have to be a little nervous. And sometimes that happens. And that's when it gets like, okay, shoe bear and where you raise your bow over your head, trying to look bigger than you are, and I show them my gut, and let them know that I'm a big guy.
Speaking of food, we judge a wild game cook-off every year with our friends at the Talladega Super Speedway, and we had some bear stew and some unique stuff over the years that some of it doesn't taste great. You get one great kill. You got to take it local to somebody. Who you taking it to in your area to prepare a good meal with it? Is there a good cook in your area?
Man, my wife is she's pretty young. She's still right there at 41. But let me tell you, she is old school. She can cook, and man, that's pretty much primarily what we eat is wild game. We got our own little cooler, and we grind and make our own, grind meat cube. I even got a little sous vide machine. A lot of times we'll go ahead and sous vide some stuff and go ahead and prepackage it and shrink wrap it. But my wife is a great cook, and I love wild game. I'm not saying it just because everybody would expect me to eat it. I mean, I don't think nothing replaces, say, a good ribeye steak. I mean, but as far as the everyday go-to meat, we eat mostly wild game. But my wife, she's a really, really amazing cook when it comes to wild game. And the only thing that I do in the house when it comes to cooking is if there's any frying. Like I'm the fryer. I fry the chicken and I'll fry the cube steak and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Hey, Michael, before you go, Richard, one of our listeners wants us to get an update from you on T-Bone. For those that don't know, one of Michael's colleagues is on the show with him, has been battling cancer. How's T-Bone doing?
T-Bone's doing good. And for those that don't know, you're right. T-Bone has had a bout with cancer. He had some fibrosarcoma cancer show up on his right leg. And it had grown so fast, just in the amount of time from late spring to this past fall, that they ended up having to amputate his right leg. And so they did just go back in here recently and did a surgery on his lung. They found a little spot on his lung, and they took that out, and they said it was about the size of a $50 that they took out of his lung. Obviously, the spot wasn't cancerous, but they had, obviously amputated his leg. They had gave him a big dose of chemo. And the good news is that spot that they found was or had been cancer, but they said it was dead, and there were no cancerous cells left as far as any growth. And so right now, man, he sent me a picture yesterday. He's on his second fitting for a prosthetic, and he is doing good, man. Just an unbelievable faith, unbelievable positive attitude. And so, man, he's not whined at all. He's not been down in the dumps. So overall, right now, T-Bone is doing really well based on what the doctors are saying and us as friends talking to him every day. I mean, he's back to himself, just laughing, cutting up, and making everybody laugh.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah. So tell him some of our listeners are thinking about him, and we all wish him the best. Hey, Michael, thank you, man. It's been fantastic. We greatly appreciate the time.
Thank y'all for having me on. Anytime, man. Enjoy chatting with you guys. Y'all carry on. Appreciate what y'all doing.
All right, buddy. You too, man. Thank you. Like
care,
us,
brother.
Michael's part of the Mountain Dew family. You can see him at Booger Bottom on Twitter, michaelwaddell.com or bonecollector.com.
Well, I enjoyed the heck out of that whole
Yeah,
interview there.
he was really good.
Fun guy.